I think somebody made this wrong.
I think you got a bloated lobster roll.
Yeah, I think somebody put Adrian. No, look, I think you've just taken 2 rolls and spread them apart.
Let's go. It brings us all together for the night. We all remember the kind of times we want to last forever. An unforgettable experience. Moments spent with all our friends, gathering around the dinner table.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Lobster and Beer TV. I'm your host, Brian Thompson. Today's guest is a world-renowned magician hailing from the United Kingdom. He's won multiple awards in magic, toured with the Mumford and Sons, got a golden buzzer on America's Got Talent, and just recently dropped his brand new special, Reptile Dysfunction. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada, it's Piff the Magic Dragon!
Hi guys, what's happening?
Not much, man. How are you, Piff?
I'm good. I'm surrounded by lobster.
Do you like lobster? Have you had it before?
Yeah, I love lobster.
Oh, that's great, man. Well, let's start off first diving into this lobster roll. What's the special ingredient you decided to add to it today?
Avocado.
I like
Avocado with the mayo base. I think this is going to be delicious.
Yeah, we haven't done this before. I actually have to put my avocado in my sandwich. How'd you make yours? Is the avocado like on top of your sandwich, or did you?
Somebody made it for me.
Well, hopefully they did a good job.
Yeah. The lobster first, then avocado, then that green shit that was in the package. I don't know what that is.
No, that's what we call it, the green shit. Yeah,
it's a little magic dust.
It's a little magic dust. I'm gonna bite into this, man. See how it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you had a lobster roll before, Piff?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah, I've lived. I've had a fulfilling life before I met you.
Have you put avocado on it before?
Never.
It's actually really good.
It is delicious.
Yeah. It's super good.
Piff the Dragon. It actually works with the green too. Green with the dragon, Mr. Dragon Piff.
Oh wow, look at that.
No, it's insane. I
think somebody made this wrong.
I think you got a bloated lobster roll.
Yeah, I think somebody put Adrian. No, look, I think you've just taken 2 rolls and spread them apart and put all the shit in the middle.
In the direction.
No, you were supposed to take one of these, cut it in half, and put the stuff in the center.
It says it's a split roll, and then the picture is showing this humongous piece of bread.
What do you think? That's not right, is it? That doesn't look right.
Wait, is that both rolls with the...
Yeah.
Are they connected under somehow though, or is it just wedged together?
No, I think they're just unbroken.
I mean, hey, that honestly though might be a revolutionary idea. It is a little different.
Try it, but I don't even know how you get it in your mouth.
Yeah. See again. Yeah, ours I think are a little more regular size. We used one roll. You just she doubled it for you and used both the stack because 2 of them come attached.
Like, any bite is going to be mostly bread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good.
That is good.
You're just gonna have to eat your way.
Way too much bread.
You're gonna have to eat your way straight through the center. Don't worry about the bread. Eat it straight through the center.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought you were about to change that into a regular size thing or something. I didn't know if it was a joke or not at first.
I thought he was gonna pull some magic on it. Oh man.
Now, Adrian is going around the office complaining. She's saying, look at the picture. You tell me. She's trying to get backup for her mistake.
Hey, listen, as long as the lobster's in between, maybe a little too much bread, but as long as you got the lobster in there, I mean, it still eats the same.
Yeah, it's okay, Adrian.
Let me see that picture.
Yeah, Adrian, come join us real quick.
To me, it looked like
No, clear. No, just no. Yeah, fix. Yeah, see if you can fix one.
Sorry, Adrian, we don't mean to get you in trouble.
And I gave away the beer.
That's fine. We just wanted to send it to you.
I gave it to Paul.
Perfect.
That's a beer that we just came out with. We figured we'd show you at least the label. We knew you weren't going to drink it all good here, but we figured we'd at least give you a show of it.
Yeah, dragons can't drink alcohol. It combusts.
Ah, that's true. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you'd be spitting fire straight into the camera.
Yeah. Oh, and
Exactly.
it's like if he got too drunk, then he would lose control of his magic skills, which would be actually kind of
epic.
concerning or entertaining.
Yeah, just start flying around, burning villages down.
All right, so maybe we don't want that. Man, dude, we're so excited to have you. It's been super fun diving into your career and how you've gotten to where you are today. And I'd love to go back and first off, just ask, like, how did you originally get into magic?
Oh, I don't know really. Like I did it as a kid, and like when you're a kid, you just kind of fall into things. But I saw somebody do it live once, and I was like, oh wow, how does that work? And then, oh, hang on, there we go.
That looks. There we go. That looks like a lobster roll.
That was a quick fix. That was impressive.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody perform magic, and I was like, and I was kind of like intrigued. And then I got a magic set when I was younger, and learned a couple of tricks. And then me and my friends used to play cards all the time. So I used to like work out. I used to like have all these like ways to cheat at cards. And a lot of that is the same as is the same as magic tricks. So I sort of slid in there. And then when I went to university, I needed to earn money. And it was either like, do I want to do some crappy job somewhere or go around a bar doing card tricks?
Yeah.
So I did that. And then that's when I started doing it full time.
What was there like a defining moment where you realized, wow, like I could actually pursue this as a career?
Yeah, I knew a bunch of magicians who were, just like they were kind of friends of mine, and so I knew it was possible. So, from the beginning, I was like, oh, this could be a better job than I was like studying computer science. So I was like, this could be better than that.
Yeah. When did the dragon costume make its way into your?
Years later.
Yeah.
Because I did magic I did it for 15 years, and about 10 of those, it was my only job.
Wow.
But I kept getting fired everywhere. I was unemployable because I had this like resting bitch face. And people were just like, we don't want to book you for our party.
Yeah.
So it got really bad. I got down to like the last couple of gigs that I had, and then I got fired from them. And I was like, I got to figure this out. And then one day I went to a costume party, and I didn't have anything to wear. And I said to my sister, if you got an outfit? And she said, yeah, I got a dragon outfit under my bed. And I didn't ask her any more questions. I never wanted to know why she had a dragon outfit under her bed. And I wore it, and no one else was in costume at this party. It was just me.
So was it a party that someone told you was a costume party as a joke?
No, they just all changed their minds and then forgot to tell me.
What a bunch of flakes. What a bunch of flakes.
So then I'm there at this party, and everyone's saying to me, what are you supposed to be? And I'm like, you're supposed to be in costume. Why haven't you got me? But one of my friends said, you could do this in your act. You could be Puff the Magic Dragon. And I said, wait, I could be Piff the Magic Dragon. You might have heard of my older brother, Steve. And so I thought of that like straight away. And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. I should try that one day. And then 6 months later, I tried it. And suddenly, it sort of like made my, I was always a bit dry and sarcastic to people. And it made all that socially acceptable. And I had a career. And because I already had all the skills from being a magician, now that I'd found a way to make people like me, then it took off pretty quickly.
And I mean, is that almost like fate in itself again, that you just happen to borrow your sister's dragon costume, show up to a costume party, which nobody was in costume. Somebody says, hey, you should always wear this, and then you end up with it. That's like a crazy twist of fate.
Exactly. My whole life was changed by going to that one party.
And for most people, that would be the most embarrassing experience of their life.
Yeah. Is that a play? Is that a play off like what is it? Is that a Peter, Paul, and Mary song, Puff the Magic Dragon? I remember hearing it growing up. Remember that song? Do you remember that?
I thought Puff the Dragon was a...
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah. That was a show, I'm pretty sure.
Was it a show as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cartoon.
Yep.
Okay.
And it was a song by Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah, I remember that. That was old school back in the day. We used to listen to it like 4th, 5th grade.
That was the times, I bet.
That's a throwback. Yeah. Wow. That's cool, man. So when did you end up in?
People just watch you eat on this podcast.
I mean, yeah, that's like a modern day kink, of a lot of people nowadays. So we get both good information, and then I mean, if you eat even closer to the mic too, you can even give us ASMR. We can double time it.
Yeah, it's perfect. We actually don't even put the word part of the interview where we're actually talking to each other. It's more just clips of different bites that you take.
Me with mayonnaise on my face.
Yeah. See, people getting
years ago.
People get into
years ago. I did a show called it was like. It's called the Anthony and Opie Show. And I think it's like name changed a couple of times because like they changed the people. But it's basically this morning show in New York where they have these comedians on. And, in the comedy world, people don't really know how to deal with a guy in a dragon outfit.
Fair enough.
It's like it couldn't have more gimmicks. I've got a tiny chihuahua. I do magic. So like the fact that people laugh is a sensitive subject when it comes to comedians. So anyway, I get this, I'm doing a show in New York and they booked me on the Opie and Anthony show, and I go on and I sit down. Oh no, it was way worse than that. So I woke up that morning, the first time it's ever happened in my life, and the only one time it ever happened since, I overslept. So I look at my clock and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't set my alarm, because it was like East Coast time and West Coast time.
Yeah.
So I overslept. So I'm like, oh my God, I've missed the show. And I ring up the producer and I say, I'm so sorry. I've overslept. It's never happened before. I don't know what to, I'm so sorry. And he said, if you leave now, how long is it going to take you to get here? And I said, 20 minutes. And he said, all right, I can still get you on the show if you leave now. So I just left. I was like in my pajamas, I threw on dragon pajamas, went straight to the show. And I walk in and the producer had done me a solid by saying that my flight was late.
Very solid.
That's great.
Comedians.
Yeah.
And I walked straight in and went, I'm so sorry I overslept. So immediately I've thrown the producer under the bus. Immediately I've made it clear that the producer was lying. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did it. So then they're all furious that I've overslept.
Yeah.
Because they're all like, how dare you oversleep and miss our wonderful radio show? So then they give me a sandwich. So I apologize, and then they just give me a sandwich. And I take the sandwich, and I'm like, thank you. And I start eating it. And the whole room just stops. And I'm like, what? because I thought that they were giving me a sandwich because when I was on America's Got Talent, I ate a sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, like when I got a golden buzzer, while they were judging me, I was making and eating a sandwich, and it
That was great.
was like, you know, forget the magic I did. People know me from eating a banana, eating a sandwich, and kissing Heidi Klum. Those are the three things.
Legendary.
The magic, not so much. So I think they're giving me the sandwich to do a bit, so I'm eating a sandwich, and everyone is just outraged. They're like, what are you doing? Eating a sandwich on a microphone? Do you have no idea how to be on a radio show? And I was just there like, I don't know what to do now. It was the worst. And I think I did a couple of card tricks to Jim Norton, and he was just like, oh, he barely cracked a smile.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So now I'm very careful when people give me food on podcasts.
Yeah.
But you're just munching away, so I guess it's fine on this one.
So you must have walked out of that station with your tail between your legs.
Good one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dad jokes, baby. What's the costume that you wore to the party that your sister invited you to? Was that a costume that you bought at the store? Is that the same costume that you wore, or is that now a custom
No,
costume?
she bought it at the store.
Yeah, okay. She bought it at the store. Oh yeah, she had it under her
bought
bed.
it.
Yeah.
And it was like made of this, it was made of the same canvas or the same material they make tents. So like it was just no air could get out. It was just boiling hot.
Oh wow.
It was like being in a tent in summertime.
Oof.
So I was like burning up, pouring with sweat. And also it was about like 3 inches too short. So I was kind of like a little bit stooped over all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't have any ear holes in for the ears, so I couldn't hear.
Oh god.
So after
I did one show in it.
okay, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, how many shows did you do in that one?
So is that custom made now?
Yeah. You can't, this is not from Macy's.
This is dragon skin, dog. What are you thinking?
I know, but I want to hear more about it. Like, did you design it? Did you work with someone on it? I know that in the new special, which I want to get to in a minute, that you had, someone else wearing it that we won't mention now. But like, how'd you end up creating it?
I think he wants one.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I was hoping that my tail between the legs joke would get me a little closer to getting my own costume, but I probably have a ways to go. But yeah, where did it come from?
I had a friend who was he's like a designer, and I had a couple of versions made that weren't great, and eventually he took pity on me and he said, I'm just going to make you a badass version. I'm going to make you like the definitive one. So he made that, and then all the rest have been sort of like versions of that over the years. I'm in my velvet one right now.
I like. Oh, so you have different actual material ones.
Yeah, we got like satin. Usually it's satin, but for Vegas, I have a velvet one.
That's badass. So is that the costume you're wearing in your show tonight?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell us about that show. So you have a residency on the Strip in Vegas. That's badass. How did that come? When did
7 years?
7 years.
For
you've
7
had that
years.
show.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's awesome, man. How did that end up coming about?
Well, I thought I moved to Vegas in 2013 to be a small part of a big show, and I signed a 10-year contract.
Wow.
And I started the show, and the show wasn't selling. People weren't buying tickets for this thing. And I was like, oh no, this is going to go down in flames. And I wanted to stay in Vegas because I love Vegas so much. So I applied for a green card, got a green card, and then the show closed.
Oof.
And so I spent a year trying to get my own thing going in Vegas. And eventually, I was like, I need to get on TV and let people know who I am, and so that they'll buy tickets for the show.
Yeah.
So I went on America's Got Talent, and around the same time, Terry Fator, who was one of the big winners of that show, he had a big billboard in Las Vegas that said, Terry Fator, the winner of America's Got Talent. And I thought it'd be really funny to have a billboard that said Piff the Magic Dragon, the loser of America's Got Talent.
We loved that when we found that.
Yeah. So I went on the show and I was like, I'm gonna try and get to the finals and then go down in flames.
So you did get the billboard before you even started first one on the. You got it before you even went on the show. Period.
No. I had to go on the show first.
Okay. I didn't know if there was that much foresight then I had read that your whole goal was to then get to the finals and then to shoot your dog out and go up in flames. What was it? What was the thought behind all of that?
Well, I just thought that, I have like the most TV exposure. I have like the maximum TV time, but then I'll be able to go and do my own thing. Because I thought if I won the show, then I have to like go and, do whatever they tell me, which is not true, like in retrospect. But I just thought at the time, I was worried about that. But then having done the show, because, they've kind of become like family to me, that show. I've gone back almost every year and done a little guest appearance and stuff. So they treat everyone great, and winning the show is not a problem. But at the time I was like, no, I've got to get to the finals and lose. And then by the time I thought that, it was the wheels were in motion, so it was too late.
So you purposely bomb so you would lose? Yeah,
I purposely shot Piffles out of a cannon and went down in flames.
It's epic. That's all.
The very next day, I got a show in Las Vegas at the Flamingo.
No way. See, so we always like to take a piece, of the conversations we have and really gear it towards kids who have a dream or aspirations to do anything in life, but especially, speaking with you today, I know there's a lot of kids out there who want to become magicians or be in entertainment. And I think what you just said there is a really cool lesson, a great takeaway for people. The idea that you had that foresight, that plan. Hey, this show that I signed up to be just to be a small part of bombed. Now I want to have my own show on the Vegas Strip, and to get there, you set a game plan that you put in motion, and it actually worked. Like, you got yourself on AGT. And you got that fame, and then you were able to start the show at the Flamingo. That's pretty incredible, man.
Yeah, it was amazing that such a stupid plan worked.
Was that the first time you had shot Mr. Piffles out, or was that a trick that you do before too?
No, that was a trick that I'd done a lot.
Okay.
And so I knew how much people would get upset by it.
Now, okay, so here I gotta ask this: how did Mr. Piffles pick you? Did you pick him? Was it love at first sight right when you saw him? Did you know that this was the one?
No, that was another lucky thing. I was doing the Edinburgh Festival, and I was doing the show, and doing like an hour-long show, but after about 30 minutes, I was like, man, this act needs like another level to it. And the girl who was running the venue, she had a Chihuahua. So we put the Chihuahua in the show, like about that 30-minute mark, and it just killed. Everyone was like, oh, he's got a dog too. So the next day, I went out and I got Piffles, and he's a rescue dog.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he was like a year and a half old, and he was a hot mess. His like coat was all horrible. His eyes were all gunky. He had to have a bunch of teeth pulled. But he went in the show, and over the next 3 months, I took him to the vets and fed him better food and everything like that. And eventually he started looking like way healthier.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh my God, that is a good looking dog. And I was like, yeah, it's, turns out he's a pedigree Chihuahua, and he just needed some TLC.
Oh, wow.
And he's been in the show ever since. And the great thing is that, from day one, he was like this. He just didn't give a shit about being on stage.
Really? See, because Chihuahuas are usually like pretty nervous dogs. They're a lot of the time not friendly with strangers. And has Mr. Piffles always been that friendly? Because you always just hand him off to Heidi Klum. Like, you just hand him to people, and he's cool.
Yeah, he's always been great.
Wow. That's
Did
impressive.
you ever have? My question was too: does PETA ever come knocking, even though you're, magic, but you're shooting dogs out of cannons and stuff? Do they ever get angry at you? Because I feel like you do love animals, and you are an animal. So
And he was stuck in box number 3. For
yeah,
that whole
box.
trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that got us in a lot of trouble. That
Did
trip.
it? I was going to ask you that, man. Yeah.
The funny thing was, we were doing that in rehearsals, and we were doing this, and we were like setting it all up and rehearsing with it for ages, and the box, we were like kicking the boxes to each other, and then eventually, opened the box and Piffles was in there, and the production was like, "Who is this dickhead who's like, kicking a dog around?" And it was one of those things that's like sometimes the magic looked a bit too good.
Yeah.
It looked a bit too
Absolutely.
convincing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure people fall for it, and then they're like, "Wait, this guy."
Which again, I guess that is the greatest compliment to you.
Absolutely.
Literally, people getting super pissed is the best compliment to you.
Was it hard? So on the show, I know, like going on the show, you probably had a set act that you had practiced a bunch, but then you continued to be on the show again and again. And was it hard to keep up with, creating a new trick, practicing that, and bringing it onto the show and performing at that level? Because it was quite impressive.
Yeah, it was super stressful. But because when I did it, you had to have like 5 different spots. Now I think they only need 3 spots. But yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. How much training did you do for the trick where you ran around the whole venue, and you went on TV in Vegas, then you came back into the venue? Like you ran like thousands of miles within 5 minutes.
Yeah. So and I barely broke a sweat.
It's incredible. Were you wearing velvet or?
No, I was in my satin outfit.
You were
for that
satin.
one.
Is satin for more like heavier workout performances?
Satin's for leisure activities.
Yeah.
Real quick, speaking on AGT before we move on. So the food, like you said, you're known for the banana. You're known for making a sandwich and kissing Heidi Klum. And the way, again, as you went down the line, it was so perfect. Was that just something that you're like, this is going to be funny and smack? Or like, because then the actual trick where you did use the bread, I thought was the perfect call. Like, I thought it was a thought out plan to get to this point.
You're talking about the toaster?
Yeah, the toaster.
No, it wasn't like, but it wasn't a thought out plan. But then you start, the more I progressed in the show, the more I was like looking back and going, how can I reference, what I was doing and stuff. But mainly it was just, I didn't want to just stand there looking like an idiot while people were talking about me. So I was like, I'll just have a snack.
It's honestly was so smart, and it matches. I gotta say, like I said, the first thing we said was your dry humor is unbelievable.
I'm a fan,
and
man. I'm a fan.
And again, the resting bitch face only makes it better. And while you're eating, that was like the culmination of like, the ultimate. I don't give a.
Yeah, seriously. Who were some of your inspirations coming up?
People like Penn and Teller,
Legends.
who kind of like changed the game of magic.
Yeah.
And but then a lot of comedians, like I always love like Jerry Seinfeld and people in the UK as well that like you remember Amazing Jonathan?
I don't.
No.
Yeah, he was a comedy magic guy as well.
Oh, really?
So people like that, when I was like growing up, and then when I kind of like when I started doing the dragon thing, then I was able to move from like going around restaurants and stuff doing card tricks into like comedy clubs and into cabaret rooms. So then I started being a bit more in show business.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple minutes ago about being on the road and how tough that can be and how much that can strain you. And have you dealt with, any mental health issues in your career that, because it's tough, especially like I've worked in music my whole life. And, when you're especially beginning, it's so hard to finally get that break. And even when you do get a break, then you have to work towards the next one. It's always like, it's hard to just kind of be a legacy act. You have to continue to build, and it can take a big toll on your mental health. And I'm just curious, has that ever been an issue for you? And if so, what are some practices for our listeners that you could pass on who are also in the entertainment industry and maybe struggling with similar things?
So you're asking a guy in a dragon outfit for mental health advice. That's what you do.
I think it's the perfect person to do it.
Absolutely.
I think it's, like, I'm not sure we evolved to be performers, I think, like, not sure, like, in our evolutionary development, any of that prepared you to sort of be on stage in front of 10,000 people or whatever it is. So I think there's something unnatural about it. And so it like, you get like flooded with dopamine hits or whatever. And then you gotta, the next day, all of that goes away and you've got to somehow rebalance.
Yeah.
So when we started, and after AGT, we were doing 3 nights a week in Vegas and 4 nights a week on the road.
Ooh,
jeez.
And we did that basically 52 weeks a year for about 5 years.
Wow.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was really brutal. So, then you dealing with like burnout and all that sort of stuff. But that's just kind of like it's a difficult industry. You have to work really hard and you have to deal with a lot of ups and downs very quickly. So the more for me, the more I'm aware of that, then the easier it is to deal with. If I just like don't acknowledge it, then it sends me a bit crazy because then I feel like, oh, why am I feeling so, up or down at the moment? And so it's just, so I have to go, oh, hang on a second. I just did a gig for, 1,000 people and it went great. Or I just crashed and burned in front of another gig or whatever happened. Just like acknowledging what's actually going on and sort of like zooming out a bit, then that gives me the perspective to feel a bit better about whatever's going on in my head.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I can't imagine what that's like.
52 weeks a year, 3 days in Vegas, 4 days on the road. Holy, I'm tired thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, right. And different time zones all the time. So you're never sure if you're coming or going or yeah.
Yeah. And so you don't...
Now we're lucky. Now we're lucky because we just do most of the year in Vegas.
That's great. Yeah, that's the best. I was
like 46 weeks a year in Vegas. We do... Like this year, we'll do about 4 weeks on the road and then a couple of weeks off for vacation.
So now, is that the perfect balance to you? You do still like to get on the road a little bit, but then, have your home base. Is that kind of is that ideal?
Yeah, it's a good balance. Yeah.
Before we dive into the special too, I want to ask real quick. So, I feel like you're a magician. You might not call yourself a comedian. I don't know if you do, but I think you're a comedian as well. So you branch these genres. How was it touring with the Mumford and Sons and with the music? Again, did that teach you a lot about the industry and stuff? And what did you learn from that?
Yeah, that was funny because I did a show at Radio City Music Hall where I did the shortest gig of all time. It was 15 seconds. It was a competition to, get there and do it. And I won the competition. I did this 15-second gig. And Mumford and Sons were on the bill as well. And they were like, oh, that was really funny. You should come and do a gig for us. So we arranged this comedy night after one of their massive shows. And it was in like the north of England. And I went there and it was like tipping down with rain. It was late at night. I was driving like through this like, horrible rain that I could barely see. Got there and I'm like unloading my stuff and I'm soaking wet. And the bar is like packed with people and they've been like, drinking all day and at a concert. And the guy who went on before me bombed like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, he crashed and burned, and I was like, oh man, this could go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And then I went out on stage, and I have a lot of music in my show, and the thing that makes my music play broke.
Oh.
So I was like, oh shit, I got no music. But then it was like this weird, like there are these magical gigs that I've probably done like 3 or 4 of them in my life, like game-changing, life-changing moments. And like something just descended on that room and I started killing. And I just like took the roof off the place. And, the end of it, everyone was like on their feet and they said, hey, come on tour with us and open for us.
No way.
And I was like, yeah, no problem. That sounds great. So they had this tour and it was like half of the tour was in theaters, like 1,500 to 3,000 seat theaters. And half was in arenas. So I go and I do these theaters and I just crush, because it's like everyone can see me. I do half an hour and it's like the die-hard fans, Mumford and Sons fans. So it goes great. And they say, hey, come back for the arena dates. And I'm like, yeah, great. That's such a good time. And the thing about arenas is it's like the fans and it's the fans and their friends.
Yeah.
Those like theater dates were just like the diehard fans, whereas the arena dates becomes like a group activity.
Yeah.
So, people they didn't really give me a chance to begin with. And I did the first day and they had like an A stage and a B stage. And the B stage was in the middle of the arena. And you know what it's like at these gigs, nobody gets there until the main band is going on. So I started 2 hours before the first support act.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just in the middle of an arena and there's nobody there. There's like a couple of hundred people up on the A stage, but nobody where I am.
Yeah.
And I'm just like doing my material to nothing.
Oh man.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is bad. And so then I introduced the first band. I came back out. I did some more stuff, just bombed. Then introduced the second band. I came back out, did the third thing. And there was a bit I used to do where Piffles would get a trick wrong, and I would pretend to break his paw, and it sounded exactly like a paw breaking, and he would just sit there, look, with deadpan, just staring straight ahead with his apparently broken paw, and when I did that, I had the whole stadium just started booing.
No.
They were like, boo!
Oh no!
And I was like, oh man, and because they weren't really watching carefully enough to see the build up.
Yeah.
They were just like, what's that noise? Who, where's that coming from? And by the time they worked out where I was, they just saw a guy in a dragon outfit break a tiny dog
With the
leg.
little dog just sitting there.
Yeah. And the band were just like, they were just pissing themselves because they were like, wow, they really hate you. Yeah. And so the arenas, I kind of worked in it a bit, and it worked out about half of the arenas I did great.
Yeah.
And 20,000 people laughing, going crazy. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
And then half the times I crashed and burned, and there was 20,000 people who just hated me. So it was just 50-50 and nothing, by the end of it, I was doing the same thing every night. And I just wasn't sure whether that was going to be the night I crashed and burned or the night it went well.
Oh man.
So
dude.
it was kind of a big learning lesson, but it was great. It was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure.
Those guys are great.
That's tough. I mean, even if you're a band, playing an opening slot in an arena, it's really hard because you don't the production quality is so much lower than the main act. But then I can't imagine, because the smaller venues, it makes sense. Like you had the intimate 2,000-3,000 people. They could see your facial expressions. They could see the dry humor. But I can't, like that dry humor coming across in an arena. Like, did they have big screens? Like, was your face on the big screen while you were performing as well?
They had screens, but like sometimes it depends what, some arenas, only like 30% of people could see the screens.
Ah, okay.
Because of where they were.
Yeah.
So sometimes there wasn't even people.
These Mumford fans are coming to a show. They're like, some of them are probably showing up pretty stoned, drunk, having a good time, and they're like partying with their friends. Then they hear a paw break.
That was probably the one time that they actually panned on camera too, like that.
Exactly. The one time they capture it. So yeah, it was, it was tough, but it was great being able to be part of that. Because
are you still friends with those guys?
Yeah, I still know them. I mean, like, obviously, like, I live in Las Vegas now, so
yeah.
And the guy who I was most friendly with, Winston, left the band.
Oh, really?
So he's not in Mumford and Sons anymore. But yeah. But I keep in touch with them every now and again, and they're good guys.
Do you think you'll ever do anything like in that capacity with them again?
I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super cool. I like that idea of, like, I've never been to a show with Matt.
Neither have I. It's very different. That's why I like. That's why I was intrigued by it.
That's super cool. I know one of our guests that we've had on before, Justin Willman, who's also a magician. He does like theater shows around the country and does really well with them because it's more intimate. I can't imagine this. Has any magician done or magicians done like arena shows, like as a headliner?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's like a really famous clip of a magician called Harry Blackstone doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. And it all goes wrong. Because it was like windy and everything's falling over and the tricks are going wrong and the elephants are freaking out. Yeah. Yeah, you can Google it. Just Harry Blackstone Super Bowl.
That's
every
rough.
magician's worst nightmare.
Yeah. Well, dude, I know we don't have too much time left because you have a show tonight, but I want to hop into the special, man. Erectile.
One too many beers for you. That's why you don't drink.
Reptile Dysfunction. Dude, it's so good. We were watching it earlier today.
Thanks.
When did you start filming that?
We filmed it all before the pandemic. So we filmed like the stuff in the showroom, and that's the old room that we were in. We filmed that at the beginning of 2018.
Yeah, and
then we filmed like the stuff out on the streets. I think we finished in like 2019.
Yeah, and
then it took ages to edit it, and then COVID hit. So we made a whole new show for Vegas and moved into this big room. And so after that, after we've been doing that show for a bit, we were like, okay, now's a good time to release a special because we're not doing those tricks anymore. So, people can see that. And if they like what they see, then they come to Vegas and they see a whole new different show.
And what was I thought it was so well done, and especially the one-on-ones with the camera and stuff. I thought they were just so good and a little different than obviously, comedy specials and I'm assuming other magic special stuff. What was kind of your inspiration behind, the whole entire thing? Did you draw from certain different things, or what were you thinking going into it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, parts of it are like, parts of it you do out on the street. So that's like David Blaine really like invented that game. Mm-hmm. But then part of it is almost like a mockumentary thing, like The Office.
Yep.
So it just came from like, the things that I like watching and how best to tell the story of a magic dragon in Vegas.
It really was unbelievable. Did you like to, I'm assuming because that you started, did you like getting back on the street and doing, close up? I'm assuming do you still do that often or no at the Flamingo, one-on-one magic?
I hardly ever do. I do it on like if I'm touring, and I'll go and do like morning press, and I'll do like the morning shows and morning blends and all those different shows. So I'll do close up magic on those. But I don't do it like outside. Like a lot of magicians will do magic like for their friends, and I've never been like that. I've always been like, no, I do it on stage and that's it.
Yeah.
You're either paying or you ain't getting it.
Yeah, it was funny being able to like go on the streets and do close up magic to people, and it is fun because like they can't believe what's happening in their hands, so they're freaking out, and it's different. It's very different from like stage magic. So, but I wanted to be able, because I spent my first 15 years doing close up magic, so I wanted to be able to show that stuff as well as the stage stuff too.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
And then, so how was it? It's been out for a little while, so we could talk about it, I guess. How was it, and how did you kind of develop over time? You said Penn and Teller were one of your, inspirations. Obviously, Penn is in it. Penn is playing your dad, or your dad. So Penn is essentially copying you. Looks exactly like you. That's got to be a form of flattery. I know he's a big musician, and you do musician, and your guys' trick in that was absolutely awesome. Incorporating the scroll, everything in it. It was awesome. How was it working with him and putting all that together?
Well, I've known them since 2011.
Oh,
I did a show in the UK called Penn and Teller Fool Us, and I didn't fool them, and so I was like, okay, well, no big deal. I'll just, that's that. But when they aired it, because this clip just exploded on the internet, and it was sort of one of the beginnings. It was like my first big break, and Penn and Teller got in touch, and they were like, we loved you on the show. We thought you were great, and we'd love to, like say hi and meet up next time. So then, like 6 months later, they came to do a show in the UK. So I met them. I went out for dinner with them, and we got on great. We just found, when you just click with people sometimes. So then I ended up moving to Las Vegas. And I said to Penn, I don't know anyone here. Can you introduce me to some people? And he adopted me in Vegas.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Showed me around and introduced me to a whole ton of people, and then him and Teller, when I was broke, and when the show finished in Vegas, and I was like had that year where I wasn't working, they said, come and work on our show. Come and like work behind the scenes on ideas and things. So I worked for them for about a year behind the scenes, and then even when I went on America's Got Talent, they ended up flying into New York to do a guest spot with me on the last episode. So they just been this amazing support in my career. And then off stage, Penn and I were really great friends, and we'd be always like meeting up, talking about ideas and things. And one day it was for some TV pitch, and they were like, would you consider doing something with Penn on his own for this TV thing? And I was like, what if Penn played my dad? And they were like, would he say yes to that? So I rang Penn and said, would you be my dad for this TV show? And he was like, yeah, that would be amazing. And the TV show never happened, but we were so into the idea that we were like, we've got to make this happen somehow. So we got the dragon outfit done, and we started doing shows together called Piff and Pop. And we did a bunch of shows in Vegas, and we did we were on Penn Jillete Flawless on the CW, and we also filmed it for the special. But for the special, we were like, let's film like you and I like dicking around off camera, and you know, like you can be my long lost father, and I can be irritable that you've returned. So we had a bit of a, you know, so there's a bit of a relationship there, and it was so much fun filming that with him, because he's an amazing actor. And I said to the film crew, you know, whatever line he's doing, he'll the first take will be perfect, but he'll also give you 3 or 4 alternative takes, all of them perfect, and then we can just choose our best one.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. Like all of the bits, you know, he would just do like 4 or 5 times, and no one believed me that he was going to get it first time, and no one believed me that he'd also do like these other alternate takes, which would also be perfect, and he just crushed it. And everyone was just in awe of how good he was on set.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's so the last 15 minutes when he gets in it is so good. It's worth watching. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely
100%.
worth watching. That last trick
Where can people find it?
It's just on our YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Piff the Magic Dragon.
Yep. Okay. Got you. Well, dude, I know you have a show tonight, so you got to get out of here. One question we ask all our guests is, if you had an autobiography written about your life today, what would the title be?
Oh, it's not easy being green.
I love it.
I love that. It's not easy being green.
You heard it here first.
I'd buy it. Well, dude, Piff the Magic Dragon, man, thank you, brother. We truly appreciate it. We're fans, and I'm excited. What do you have coming out next that you're excited about, by the way?
Yeah, we just did a spot on America's Got Talent. So that just came out. It was funny. We did this trick where there's an old magic trick with the kettle, magic tea kettle, and you name a drink. Whatever drink you name, you pour it out of the tea kettle.
Oh yeah.
So we did that with Piffles. So, and instead of a spout, I think you get the idea.
No way! That's awesome.
Any drink named, he pisses. And we do it in our Vegas show. And I pitched it to AGT like a month ago. I said, you know, because they were like, can you come and do a guest spot? And I was like, yeah, we've got this trick where Piffles pisses any drink. And they were like, great. And then 2 days before the show, the legal department was like, whoa, you can't show a dog pissing on television, you know, on like primetime television. So it's really, if you watch it, like when we open it to show he's peeing, they had to like censor it. But you see everyone in the theater is like, oh my God. So it worked great. So we just finished that. And then we're about to go on tour with Puddle's Pity Party.
Nice.
Who's a great guy. He's like a 6.5-foot clown with this golden voice. He's on AGT as well.
Oh, cool.
And he's like he's like massive online.
Yeah.
And we're doing a double-headed tour together, him and I. And then we're doing our Vegas show. That's what's happening.
That's exciting. The tour dates are on. Do you have a website that people can go to?
Everything's on the website, piffthemagicdragon.com.
Awesome.
You can even watch a special there too.
Awesome. Well,
people, get your tickets in person at the Flamingo on the road. You will not be disappointed.
And go watch the special too.
Go watch the damn
super
special.
Good, man.
So good.
I want to run it back. Honestly.
So good.
Well, cheers, Piff the Magic Dragon.
Piff.
We appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming
so
on.
much.
Love. Everyone go check out Piff, and that's it. That's Lobster and Beer with Piff the Magic Dragon. Hey guys, I know we got kicked out of the bar. They called last call, but we're back. And I just want to let you know we appreciate you guys so much. Our fan base means everything to us. So if you can, hit the like button, subscribe right here, and hit us up on Instagram, socials, everything. Lobster and Beer TV. We love you. We will see you on the next episode.